You got to have a white, blue-eyed guy be like, workers of the world unite, and then they'll go, like in Cuba, Fidel, he just was a big motherfucker that killed people, and they're like, we like that guy.
100%.
Yeah.
The support for Fidel in Cuba is hilarious because it's like the Freemasons in the hills that were like, this guy's gonna kill our president. We love him.
Yeah,
we have no idea what this guy's about. We're gonna hide him in our lodges. This guy's awesome.
He's 6'4" and he just cuts guys' heads off.
They're like, this guy's the coolest guy in the hills.
That sounds like a Spanish Jack Reacher.
That's exactly why I brought up Fidel.
Just enthusiastically giving head, you like begrudging head?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm used to. I'm not used to it when a girl's like, yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. I'd love to do this for you.
You're like a badgered blowjob.
Yes. Yeah, actually what I am is I'm fundamentally a bad person. Yeah, that's kind of, no.
I took you to brunch. It was Sunday, all right?
Yeah. Listen, we split it 50-50, so, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot of my day.
I had $60, now I have $40. No, I think it reminds me of like the early days of like YouTube when you just get like you'd go to work and your coworker would be wearing a shirt that said Charlie bit my finger.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool, man, that's awesome. I like that video too. It was funny. Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks go by and your boss has one. And then 3 weeks go by and your boss gets coffee mugs that say Charlie bit my finger. And I thought we left that part of the internet behind.
Ouch,
and
Charlie.
now my grandma has a Hawk Tuah tumbler. And I'm like, come on, we got to go to Easter service.
Yeah, Grandma, do you know that this is about a spitty blowjob? Maybe she does.
I like the trend of grandmas that are like put on by their daughters or their granddaughters on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, like Batty Winkle? Like
and it's like, I'm the vibing grandma, fucking finger blast my holes.
Yeah.
It's like, Grandma, do you have any? It's just some Greek Orthodox lady being like, the vibes on this bitch are cunty.
Yeah, it's just like fleeing Poland to just like 40 years later be like, I like to do a rim job to husband who die in Russian Civil War. Yes.
My broke husband is bad vibe.
Yeah. We don't do 50-50 in this household. Not since Red Army invade. Oh my goodness.
So that's what you don't like about the Hawk Tuah is the memification of it.
Dude, it's a good video is funny. I just like when I'm going to get my oil changed and the sign doesn't say the discount, it says Hawk Tuah oil changes. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like it just helps.
Wait, time out. Are you seeing that often?
Yeah, dude, it's in.
There's mechanics that are like, come here, we'll give you the best blowjob.
No, what's funny is I have this thing, I will hear it, in everybody else's defense and in this great woman's defense, I have this thing where one thing bothers me and then I make a gross generalization about everything that happens to where I make up in my mind that I see it everywhere. It was Take 5 in San Marcos, which is a college town, so it is, all the bars are like, Hawk Tuah happy hour, like it is, because it's just everybody that lives there is either an 80-year-old Mexican woman or a 20-year-old alcoholic.
There's one bar that's still trying to do Hot Girl Summer.
Yes,
it's Hot Girl Summer on the patio. It's Hawk Tuah Summer.
Get with the times, idiot. Yeah, and so I when I see it, I'm just like, dude, goddamn, can we move on to the next thing? Can we just the next thing happen? Maybe that's my thing. Maybe I don't have the attention span to sit with a
Last
joke.
thing that lit me up, like 4 years ago, I thought there was going to be a white boy summer.
I knew you were going there.
I got out of my mind excited, and I found out it was some internet joke.
Yeah.
I said, I was really ready to rebrand.
JT, I hate to tell you, dude, but White Boy Summer was around the time me and you met. Yeah. That was about, we had a white boy like 5 years. Like, I'm sorry to say, I think White Boy Summer left me and you behind many years ago.
Can I tell them why you're in my phone is Boingzo Buxo?
Yeah, of course.
Because I called him, I used to get drunk and then try to call Jake Rowe. And that happened so many times that he was like, change my name from Jake Rhodes in your phone to Boingzo Buxo. And I called him Boingzo Buxo for years because I met him at an open mic. It wasn't even the first time we met. Yeah. It was the first time we had like a good set at the same night at Fallout Theater. And I'm outside, and I was there with everyone from my coffee shop, and we were doing cocaine. He was doing cocaine, but separately. And then our paths crossed talking about cocaine.
Hey,
and
that's my dollar bill.
yeah, we said we should all go out and do cocaine together.
Fish
and
scale.
I think you were going to a party or something.
Yeah, I was gonna have like a house party with our house was just like the house from Breaking Bad, where like Jesse lived. That we just
You
would
had an
do that.
ATM stolen. And then,
Yeah.
is that what you mean? Like,
Yeah. People would just like smoke crack and like sleep on the couch for a few days.
oh no, Badger's dead.
Fuck. My best friend's dead. Turn the music back up. Go. Yeah.
We got a soft invite to that party.
Yeah.
Soft invite. It was
Why? Because all that cocaine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say couldn't get wood on the coke, and he was flaccid.
Yeah.
my group out of cocaine. And he said, oh, I can probably get you guys more cocaine, but it's Boingzo Buxos. And we had no respect. We all laughed in his face. We thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Just a nice moment with the guy outside. He goes, yeah, it's Boingzo Buxos. Because he's high on cocaine. Just
That's
ripping
a
outside
normal
coffee.
thing to say.
We never let it go. Everyone in the coffee shop would be like, hey, this coffee's Boingzo Buxos, right? Just the meanest, also cocaine addicts. He riffed one time.
Man, you were catty.
10 years later, I'm like, oh, Boingzo Buxos over here.
That same night, I think I went the wrong way down 7th in my Crown Victoria. I was like leaving. I was like, yeah, later, JT. I'm going the wrong way down 7th. Just like everybody's waving at me, but very apprehensively.
In like a jalopy, too. In like a Crown Vic that
Yeah.
looked like he put
Old
together
cop
in his
car.
garage.
Yeah,
It was so
yeah.
tight, driving the wrong way on the one-way street. We're all like, no. He's like, yeah, guys, see you at the party.
Yeah.
I think we should introduce ourselves for all the cokeheads who are watching this right now, who are like, absolutely, I know exactly what's happening. This is JT Kelley.
JT Kelley.
I'm Sam Castillo, our
Jake.
producer,
What's up, Jimmy?
and of course our guest.
Jake Rhodes. Hey, everybody. How's it
Hey
going?
everybody.
Thank you for being here.
Buxo.
Boingzo Buxo. There was a time where I was neighbors with Jake Rowe, and I was going to the lodge to pick up, and I'd call Jake Rowe drunk, and every time Jake would answer. And I'd be like, hey, Jake, I'm on my way. He'd be like, I don't think you are.
There was a comedian who I won't name, but this was back in the day, about 10 years ago, who booked me for a show. And you know who I'm talking about. And I show up, and they're like reading the names off the list, and they're like, Jake Rhodes. The fuck is that? And they were like, oh, I was trying to book Jake Rowe, and I was like, hey, I'm Jake Rhodes, and they were like, oh, yeah, I mean, I guess you can do 10. That's fine. And I was like, I mean, I know you guys too. I knew the guy that booked me, so I was like, you
Hunter
don't have to
Duncan, huh?
no.
I was gonna say he's. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No. It wasn't Hunter. It was a different guy. But I was just like that, and that happened. By the way, it's funny that you say that you changed my name to that because up until like I'd say about a year ago, you would text me and be like, "Yeah, dude, it's looking like fucking absolute dog shit out here," and I'd like. The weather? And then you go, oh shit, that was Roe. You guys would be having like a whole conversation and you'd be so drunk that you would just like, Jake R. Okay. And like, I would enter you and Roe's conversation halfway through. You had no idea what was going on.
The funniest was when Jake Rowe watched my dog for a weekend. And I said, how's my dog? And you were like, what? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
How's my dog? Doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm all right, brother. Things could be going better, you know?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Are you still living in San Marcos?
Yeah. Me and my fiance live out there. It's nice, man. It's cheap. And it's like, I was just saying in front the other day, it's like everyone down there, like I said, Austin used to be a college town and now it's, San Marcos is just a college town. Mm-hmm. It's just like tweaker Hispanic guys and then college students, which is a great mixture of people to be in the same city.
It used to be Hyde Park. It was incredible.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like everything is like, every bar has some sort of kitschy name like Secret Friends or something, or it'll be a bar from back in the day before it was a college town called like Stinky Mike's. And like the town is segregated from like, the cool club. And then like fat idiots drunk ice house for dumbasses, and you're like, that's where I like to drink.
Yeah.
I like to drink at Big Mo's fucking retard house.
We're going to White Beaters. You want to hoist a few? Mm-hmm. No, I'm actually going to Club Select.
I'm going to the retardtorium down the street. Oh, hell, fuck it.
They got $2 doses down there.
I'm going to It's Bussin'.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. They have a putt golf bar over there now, and it's like all the signs outside is like, come bus with us, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I haven't drank in a while, right? I don't think Sam has either. Do you drink?
I'll go like 3 or 4 months without drinking, and then I'll take like 3 weeks where I just do Russ Cole shit alone.
That rules. I love doing that. That is the best lifestyle.
That is the
in
move.
world.
Yeah,
I love doing that. Oof, feels
Just
incredible.
wake up on a motorcycle.
Yes. I was like, my fiance is like, babe, you can't go like 3 months without drinking and then just take a weekend where you're like, I gotta go meet old biker friends. You know what I mean? I gotta go. Some old connections looking for me. I got the
Demons
fuck
are
out.
haunting my soul. They need to be silenced.
Yeah, because like your hangovers, your body's not accustomed to living like that. So, but I find that it allows me to engage both parts of my personality, which are like take life seriously, do the things I enjoy doing. You know. Do kickboxing, comedy, whatever, and then I get to be the part of me that will never die, which is just a sick animal.
A little left brain, a little right brain.
Yeah.
I'm writing a book about it. I don't know. It's called The Real Man's Warrior. I don't want to talk about it.
The real man's warrior.
Published the first chapter on Facebook. It's gotten a lot of interesting feedback.
If you wrote a self-help book, dude, that would be so sick.
I would love to write a self-help book. There was a while where I was in a group chat with guys that were all like, and guy in Chicago who still follows me on Instagram. If you watch this, I'm so sorry. But we're just like guys with no friends that I would meet doing comedy, and then I'd put them in a group chat together. And I did this until like 2018. I'd send inspirational videos to them, and there's like 7 of them. There's like 7 or 8 guys.
Up until what year?
Like 2018,
So
2019.
when you were still doing badly.
When I was doing bad, before I started making good money and getting married.
Yes.
Let's be clear. You were in a cult.
Yeah, I was in a cult.
Yeah.
You were broke as shit.
Broke as shit. A drug addict.
Yeah. We're doing open mics and getting paid in chicken tenders.
I would kill for a good chicken tender at that time. I'm getting violent tattoos because my cult leader's doing them for free and is impressed by my willingness to do them all.
And you found a schlub. Sorry, a series of schlubs.
5 or 6.
Who aspired to that.
I mean,
awesome.
I could never really tell if they liked the advice and inspiration ironically, or if they were just like, yeah, dude, I like that JT sends me this video saying, let's get it today, boys. And I would just be in there like, 2 types of people in this world, people that get it and people that don't get it. Type of guy that you're going to be today, the type that gets it.
Yeah,
and then it'd get like 5 thumbs up, a couple hearts. Like, yeah, dude, I loved that.
Damn.
Yeah.
I had a buddy from high school who, at the ripe age of 28 years old, like 100 pounds overweight, big boy, David Goggins himself into joining the Navy to be a SEAL at like 28, 280, like 5'8".
I didn't know they take guys that old to be
They
a Navy
do.
SEAL. That's
No, they don't
hilarious.
take them to SEAL school. He found out that the hard way. This motherfucker signed a contract to be in the Navy, and they were like, "You're too." Well, he went to the Navy recruiter, and they're like, "You're too big. You are not gonna. They're not even gonna take you at Buds. You also might be too old." And he was like, "All right, I'm gonna go lose a bunch of weight." He lost like 15 pounds, and then comes back to the recruiting center, and they're like, you can join the Navy if you want, but you are not gonna do Buds." And he was like, "All right, we'll see about that." And then of course they don't. They only accept psychos. They only accept 22-year-old, like 5% body fat serial killers. That's what the operator clubs do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so I asked a buddy who informed me this. I was like, what was the primary motivating factor for him doing this? Did he have like a psychotic break? And he was like, dude, I'm not kidding. He watched like David Goggins TikToks alone, like playing Battlefield, and was like, I want to be a SEAL.
That's awesome.
And then had like a mental breakdown and joined the Navy.
What a smooth brain. Just a different video would have been a completely. He was like, yeah, so I joined ISIS.
Yeah, right.
I'm an ISIS guy now. Syria sucks, but I'm an
I don't
ISIS
want to
guy.
be rich. I don't want to be famous. I want to be that impressionable.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
to find solace and hope, to find optimism in such a pedestrian way, and then change my life.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm bipolar. I've broken leases. I've sold everything I own, but that's not productive. He at least got health insurance.
Yeah.
I wish my manic episodes led to like my dad respecting me more.
Yeah. Dude, like I watched so many classic car TikToks that I bought a V8 swapped 34-year-old Astro van that immediately broke down in 2 months. Like I understand that guy, but I'm like you. I'm like, no, I'm stupid. And if I'm going to have an impulsive decision, it's going to be something that for 2 weeks makes me look cooler to people who don't know me. A leather jacket, an old classic car.
Leather jacket. That is classically cool.
Dude,
You gotta
leather
admit.
jacket is such a cool move.
It is cool.
Especially when you wear it and it's not cold out.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, have you ever tried one on?
I have
They weigh
4.
like 20 pounds.
Bro,
Yeah.
You just immediately go, oh, I can't do this.
Dude, I gotta tell you, when you build up the courage
Oh, you
to
do, yeah.
leave the house in that leather jacket, you feel like the fucking man.
Yeah.
Dude.
I got like a Fonzie style motorcycle leather jacket when I was in high school, and I wore it, and the amount of people, cool, hot women in college, because I had a beard, that would say cool leather jacket, I was like, oh, I'm wearing this in summer. And I did, dude.
Yeah.
Just dripping sweat, being like, yeah, dude. Women that work real jobs and went to school complimented this. I would do anything.
Well,
to
there
talk
was
to
a
them
time
more.
in Austin before, like, I guess I guess around when I first moved here, I feel like the tail end of the city, I guess, before it became like parking garages and stuff, whatever. All you had to do, if you were a loser in a small town, you just wore a leather jacket and you just did key bumps out of the filter of parliaments, you could get pussy from a girl who like only bartended her whole life
Dude,
and never
there was
learned how
a
to read.
time where pedicabers would have after parties
dude.
every night. And I would go to these I'd ride my fixed gear to a pedicabber party.
Yeah.
And women would talk to me like I wasn't a scumbag drug addict loser.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, so I'll die in Austin. This is the greatest city on earth. This should be illegal for me to be able to get pussy. This is insane.
Yeah. Pedicabbers were like rock stars for a little bit there, dude.
There was a time
They're
in the
crazy, dude.
They're insane. They're all mad. They all have crazy nicknames like pirate and rapist and zebra. I'm the Widowmaker. Okay, dude, you ride bikes.
Yeah.
Bro, I saw a pedicab guy in Scotland who was like, yo, can you film me for a second? And I said, okay. And I started filming him. He scaled the building. He ran up like a monkey on the outside of the building, all the way to the top floor, and then down and goes, did you get it all? And I said, yeah, and I handed it to him. And then he just left.
Nice.
An old
He's
friend.
meeting up with another group of juggalos right after that.
God damn, dude. This was in Glasgow?
Yeah, no, this is in Edinburgh.
Oh, it's supposed to be the nicer one.
That does sound like a very poor person activity.
Do you know what's even crazier is I was with a guy who was living with us at the time in Scotland, and he had gone out doing coke, and then he brings back like 4 girls to the house and 2 random dudes. He goes,
Great.
dude,
Bad numbers, buddy.
We're in no, this is what he said, ready? He goes, we're in a taxi cab driving back home, and this pedicab guy goes, you're fucking hot. And they're like, okay. So we grab onto his pedicab, hold it against the cab, like the car, bring him home, and then that pedicab driver turned out to be the same guy that I'd filmed earlier that day.
So
Started doing coke in my living room, like 3 a.m.
then he scaled our house.
Yeah. Well, he was like, okay, guys, time to leave. I'm going home. And I said, not that way. You're not.
You gotta climb down that window, buddy.
Yeah,
I seen your moves, buddy.
that's the window.
I feel like you
dude.
can't do like, I don't know. I feel like maybe just that experience in America is gone now.
There's no the pedicabbers are first off they have motors now.
Yeah.
And they're fat. I would never have a fat peasant drive me around. I want a sleek, skinny, hot, muscular peasant.
Yeah.
They make more money than I do, to be clear. But the paddygabbers, they used to have boxing matches at night. Did you
Yeah,
ever see the
yeah.
boxing matches?
Yeah,
Yes.
they were proper gypsies from
Yeah.
like Snatch.
It
Yes,
was.
yeah,
There
yeah.
were guys that actually lived at the pedicab warehouse and had like little nooks that
They
were
were
their
like hard
beds.
dick warriors, dude. They were not. They didn't fuck around.
It was insane.
They're taping up their penis.
Yeah. There was one a friend of mine who's no longer among the living, but not because of this reason. He came back to I was living at the apartments behind St. Ed's there for a while, and he comes back. He comes over to a party of mine, and he's got like a bandage around his head, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I had a crazy ass weekend." And I was like, "I can't fucking tell, dude, what happened?" And he was like, "Oh man, I made the classic mistake of trying to get into a fist fight with a pedicabber." And I was like, "Why would you ever do that?" Those guys are they're like Brad Pitt they're just born ready to go.
and nothing to lose. Too.
Yeah.
They'll die
And
for this
he
shit.
said that the guy and also my buddy was like completely in the wrong. He was just super drunk. Was like, I don't want to pay you, dude. And the guy was like, all right, sick. I'm gonna beat the brakes off of you. So they get into a fight. My buddy starts winning, and then the dude just pulls out like a monkey wrench, dude. Like not. It was like just like you know how you can equip shit and like Left 4 Dead. You just shoot your weapon wheel shows up and you just go ding ding, and it just. He said, dude, I don't know where it came from because it's just a pedicab. There's no pocket. He was wearing a shirt and shorts. He just suddenly had a monkey wrench and just cracked him and like cracked his skull with it. Like not bad, but bad enough. We had to go to the hospital. Wasn't there for 2 days, and I was like, last thing you should ever do, dude, is fight a guy who like his job is to like pedal uphill a bunch of fat like idiots and tourists who have more money than he'll ever have in his life.
Yeah, buddy, I just peddled a family from Dallas. I can handle anything right now.
Yeah.
It's also you look so crazy whenever you're telling a story with a head wound.
Yes. Yeah.
You have a little thermometer sticking out for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I fucking living in San Marcos, I've come to like really appreciate like when I come back to the city and I'm like, or like back to Austin, and I'm like, man, like everybody's like, oh, Austin is like when people come here and they like I have friends who come from like different parts of the country. I'm like, why do you spend $3,000 to vacation here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you get like hotels and stuff? Like, what's going on? Because everything's like it's the like New York prices, but like the food everything just kind of isn't. It's not New York. It's not LA. It's not Chicago. You know what I mean? I don't know.
This is literally the South. Why aren't you doing this in Nashville where it's popular?
Yes, yeah. Like, there's not a lot going on here. I mean, it's pretty, I guess, but
I don't know, dude. If I was 22 years old and I went out to 6th Street and I was just like some fucking dude from, I don't know, Killeen, Texas, and then I saw 6th Street, I'd be like, okay, so Austin's like the greatest city in the world.
Yeah, dude, people are hot here.
fair.
That's the other thing is like you from some small town or from some dog shit European city go to Austin and you just see a sea of like hot drunk people.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, in Estonia, I don't have pedals on my car. I push it with my fingers down there. Here, women are showing their tits and their belly buttons. I've never seen anything like this before.
Well, yes, I will say, when I came from like this shitty part of South Houston, it was just like smokestacks and like oil refineries and just nothing, flat. When I moved here when I was 18, I'm like doing stand-up at the Velveeta Room, like my first show ever. And then I'm like, I'm gonna go down to Sixer. I got a fake ID. I had the same experience where I was like, they shut the street off so you can get a PI. The cops just kind of watch you like open air drug market from like 8 to like 2 in the morning, and it's fine. Whereas like I'm from a part of like in Houston where like if a cop pulls you over, he might just accidentally be like, ah shit, ah fuck, God, ah shit.
Here's a vacation for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a promotion, you know. And so that was cool because I was like, dude, I'm in Wonderland. I can go get a burrito and then I can do cocaine in the bathroom at the burrito bar, and everybody thinks that I'm cool.
Do you guys remember Austin used to have this like best of every year? And the best of sidebar would always win best of bathroom in Austin.
Yes.
And it was like this open, okay, so we're all just talking about this cocaine bar where you walk in and it's an open air market of cocaine.
The newspaper, for context, for the city of Austin would do like best ice cream parlor. It would be like fucking, assholes ice cream. But then like, the best bathroom was the Coke bar. It was the bar where you would buy cocaine.
Yeah, you could also buy like, I'm pretty sure you could like rent a person there.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember one time going to get an 8-ball, and then this guy, the friend of this dude that had sold to me was like, yo, what y'all up to later? And I was like, oh, I like to do this thing where I get this and then I go to my house and I get scared. Like I'm not a guy. I like to fucking listen to just the Alice in Chains self-title alone and imagine a completely different life for yourself where you're like a Hell's Angel. That's the type of psychosis I like. And he was like, oh, we're going to hang out. A couple of girls are coming with us. And he just points to these 2 girls that are like, you know how the sidebar back area, there's the benches and then there's just this alley that's like 2 by 2, it's just like a corner. They were just standing there. And I was like, those girls don't look like they want to be here.
It seems like you guys are partying, but they're not. Where are the girls that want to party? These are just sad young women?
Yeah, and again, that guy was like, yo, like, you ever buy drugs from a guy who you're a bad person because you do them. That guy is legitimately not a great guy. And
it makes you feel like a better person.
Yes. And because you buy something from him, he's like, oh, you're like me. Do you want to come rent a couple of these ladies? And you're like, no.
They're so scared. They're so scared. They look like they've been hurt.
Yeah. But wouldn't it be worse to be buying drugs from a guy that's like much better than you? Like a Ned Flanders? Like,
I sell the scumbag some blow.
I gotta give you this really early, really early on Saturday night because I do have church on Sunday. So
I got a hot date. I'm like, oh, fuck, you're living a good life, dude.
I gotta take my kids to soccer practice. You're like, the fuck are you doing?
There used to be this Coke dealer at Sidebar that my friend became buddies with. And after the bar would close down, they would go to his penthouse downtown.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what's the penthouse like? And he's like, no furniture, 1 coffee table in the middle, some camping chairs, and sometimes like seemingly willing prostitutes just exit and come and go from the rooms as they please. I'm like, okay, seems like he does more than cocaine. Seems like the cocaine is more
like
of
he's
just
into
like
camping.
Yeah.
He said chairs.
So did you just move into this place?
You're hanging out at a penthouse with no furniture. That's where that guy murders people.
Yeah, and it's like, why is your trap house a penthouse? It's terrifying.
Why are there newspapers all over the floor?
Yeah, plastic tarp and sheeting.
There's an axe.
Oh, I'm getting into art. And he was winking. You're like, why'd you wink? He's like, oh, it's art. Stop. No winking.
I worked with this guy that told me he was the dumbest motherfucker. He was like an old skinhead, but like a Mexican dude, like just an old school Texas skinhead. And he sucked. But he told me, he was like, man, I just started investing downtown. And I was like, oh, I 100% took him at his words. Oh, what are you investing in? He goes, I got these 2 guys that I give $3,000 a week. They go, they buy blow, they turn it, and then I get $3,500 back. And I was like, that's a bad investment.
Yes.
That's a horrible investment. And also, at some point, they're going to ask more money from you and then take your money.
Also, that's not investing.
Also, not investing.
yeah, same. Yeah.
Wait, hey, hang on. I don't mean to die on this hill, but how is that not investing?
Depends on what you mean by. Do you mean investing in the tight term or the loose general term?
I mean, like, if I gave Jimmy $1,000 and he said, I'm going to get you $1,500 back, I just invested $1,000 with Jimmy.
But context
Am I
provides.
retarded?
No. Context makes it not investing. Context makes it you are like a mid-level drug dealer.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
JT, I want you to do that and then go to Charles Schwab and tell them about your portfolio.
Yes. Yeah.
No, you know Jimmy Clifford? No, buddy of mine, not the one you're thinking.
At some point, you're driving and you go, I'm not a financial planner.
Yeah.
I'm a tertiary trafficker.
Yeah. You go to Charles Schwab, and you're talking to the guy like with confidence, yeah, portfolio's pretty diversified. And he's like, oh, what are you in? Like, yeah, S&P 500, maybe playing little pennies, and you're like, no, Klonopin, Oxy, Fent is big right now.
Fent is huge.
Fent is
right
huge. Yeah, big market for Fent. People, kids.
I don't have my money in everywhere. Oh, in a Roth and a regular IRA? No, Rogelio and Rudy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Yeah, I have two financial advisors. They live in the same apartment building on different sides
One's
of the
a Dominican trans woman, and then the other guy just has one eyeball.
One's a cyclops.
Yeah.
The Dominican trans woman is so funny.
Dude,
I love we did New York, and I was there one time during like a Dominican parade, and
that sounds like a name for a robbery, but go on.
yes,
Yeah, that's a long way to describe it. Hold up.
it's a long way to describe what it's a gas station robbery. And I had this feeling, I was like, these guys dance and talk and act very gay, and they would kill you in 1 second.
100%.
they're just fucking like bachata, and then also like
It's the most graceful way to die.
yeah,
I'll dress like
absolutely.
a woman and then call you gay and kill you.
Yes, that is exactly what I mean. Where like you ever work like a construction job where a guy will like be like, oh, you know, what you doing after work, pulling on it? And you're like, nah, I can hang out with my fiance. And then they'll call you gay for going on a date with your wife. Like, it's like, oh, are you going to kiss her? I'm like, yeah.
When I first moved to Austin, I met a girl on OkCupid, and we went on a date. And on that date, we go to, I think it's called like, I don't know, it's like Chipotle but shittier. It's called like Sbarro. Not Sbarro's, that's pizza. Anyways, get there, and one of the first things she tells me is that she's not black. She says she's Dominican. And that was the entire date.
I thought this was like a white bitch be like,
Yeah.
just so you know, I'm not black.
I'm not
I thought the
black.
same thing.
She said I'm
Did
Dominican.
she say it?
We never went on another date again.
Did she say it?
The N-word?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious if she said, I'm not a fucking...
They all do it though. So
Dominicans? Oh, yeah.
There was a guy named Darian.
Oh,
that was
women.
There was a guy named Darian in my high school, and we were in history class one day, and he turns to this half black kid named Drew, and he goes, Drew said something teasing him, and he goes, "Shut up, slave." And Drew was like, "Darian, you're black. You're darker than I am." And he goes, "I know black and Dominican." And he goes, "You think if a slave owner walked in here right now, he'd be like, grab him, but leave him. He's Dominican." And then my teacher chimed in. She goes, "You know, Darian, if we actually look at the triangle trade, the slave trade, you're probably closer related to actual slaves than even Drew is." And he goes, "Shut the fuck up, white bitch." And he
I
laughed.
eat plantanos. What don't you get?
It's
I
just,
can dance.
it's just so funny that they all say the N-word, but they're like, "I'm not black." Okay.
Dude, I didn't know. I was like, I straight up didn't know that Mexican guys couldn't say it. And then I moved to Austin, and I remember getting into an argument as a white man with my black friend. I was like, dude, where I'm from, they say it.
In Texas, it's like the most said thing. If you see a dude with an Edgar, it's like, oh, he's about to drop it.
Yes,
he's
yeah.
about to
Yeah,
drop
same
it.
thing with Puerto Ricans in New York. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's more about like the culture you grew up in.
That is, now here's the thing. I agree with you, but also I have been drunk very passionately arguing this point to a friend of mine who's African American who's like, hey man, you seem really willing to die on this hill as a white guy who from the barrio, but like you're not even a part of that culture that you're talking about. You're just a white trash guy. And I'm like, what if my Mexican friend wants to drop one? Can he not?
I'm not even from the barrio, and I would die on that hill too. I would 100% be like, no, I've met them. They don't say it in a hateful way. I hung out with two El Salvadorians one night, and they were just saying it nonstop. They both worked at an illegal barbershop together.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you guys get the pass.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I don't know which comic said it, but there was a comic in the Creek over the past week or so that's had a joke.
The word? All of them.
No, where the joke is, he goes, "I can't say it. Listen, I'm white. It's part of my culture. We literally invented the word.
Yeah, that's funny.
Maybe
That's like yeah, all right. That's
Yeah.
an open mic right there.
Whenever you go to a mic and you see a guy, I'm sure you've both experienced this. You go to a mic and you see a dude and you're like, your brain, there's like a radar that goes off. You're like, that guy's going to go up there and say the N-word, hard R, or he's going to say the F word, the whole one. Not the 3-letter one that's sometimes like, all right, but the full one. And it's not going to be in a joke that's funny.
Yeah.
And I was doing the Cap City open mic one, and this guy like came up and he was like, how do I describe like a social distortion, like Dead Kennedy's Gen X punk? That's like back in the day, his politics, I guess, could have been misconstrued as like left wing, but now he's just like a libertarian or
He
something.
didn't like the Vietnam War.
Yes, yeah. And he
Right.
was up there like literally doing like, here's a list of words you can't say, like the Carlin bit, but it was updated and it was like hard R, like all the ones that are, I guess, are bad now. And I was like,
I was like, interrupt. Was he wearing a caddy Newsy Boy hat?
yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You knew exactly who it was.
I needed to know.
Yeah,
That's
you know
all
who I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Who is it?
Go on.
Yeah. And so he's like, I think he thought in his mind, because the first one being the hard RN word, I think he was banking on that one getting at least a nope, nothing. Quiet. It was quiet in that club. And then he was like, all right, I'm going to double down. Each word you could see his eyes get brighter, like he was expecting the laughs to come. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I know I'm going to bomb because I'm drunk right now and I didn't write anything. At least I'm not doing that. At least I didn't on the way here in an Uber like that's gonna kill.
This is truth to power. That's what this is.
I was going
right
to talk
here.
about how I come fast. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I saw there was a dude in New York that said the N-word on stage, and he just got beat up
Really?
That's
on
awesome.
stage. Yeah, some black dude punched him in the face.
Really? That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Dude, I was gonna I was gonna text you about this because I was talking to Thomas about it. So Rogan is taken to doing this thing where he keeps calling comedy dangerous again, like on his show where he's a millionaire and he has millions of dollars.
He calls comedy dangerous again?
Yeah,
That's funny.
he was like, yeah, it wasn't dangerous, but stand-ups, he'll get quiet. There'll be this gravitas that enters the room on his behalf. And he's like, comedy's dangerous again. And he'll kind of exhale on the again. And I'm like, you're a homo, dude. I understand whatever, but and then people, because they don't know what to do, they'll agree like, yeah. And I'm like, dude.
The guy's like, dude, I'm an astrophysicist. I thought we were
Yeah.
talking. You had me on the show to talk about quantum physics.
Comedy's
Yeah.
dangerous again. It's like, yeah, I have a gun in here. No one knows I have a gun at every show.
Well, sometimes he'll say that shit to a guy who was like a Green Beret or like a.
Yes, he does have those guys on.
Yes, and I'm not saying that the Delta Force war criminal is cool, but it's always nice to see their faces when he's like, dude, what we do up there it's kind of dangerous, and they're like, yeah, for sure, yeah, 100%, yeah, it's a lot like Kandahar, yeah, for sure, yeah, Bagram, yeah.
And that Green Beret is just he's just telling himself, if I agree with him, he's gonna let me plug the transphobic coffee again.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll get to sell my transphobic coffee.
Yes, yeah. If I hang out with this fucking moron and all of
bag.
his fake badass friends, then I can maybe get to a point where I can, make $1 million off my I hate gay people coffee company. Yeah, that was the game plan is always there for sure.
The amount of tough guys that I've met in the past few years that suddenly love stand-up.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you've never been to a comedy show. You might watch Killed Tony or you might see clips online, but
Yeah.
you're not a comedy fan. The amount of tough guys, especially at jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
that I've met that have given me advice for comedy.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, hey, how about you give me advice for wrestling and I'll give you advice on how to keep a wife.
Yeah.
How about we do those two things back and forth? I'll tell you how to not get your wife to leave you
Yeah.
because you can't stop doing jiu-jitsu every day.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and then maybe you tell me how to wrestle a little bit.
Yeah.
Last thing I want from you is what you think is funny, buddy. Last thing I want.
It'll when I was training 10th Planet, I've talked to you about this before where I have everything is the CIA brain.
Oh, me too.
And so these guys, you'll be rolling with a dude or we would spar and he would bring something up where I'm like, yeah, they killed JFK. And the guy yeah, all right. And I'm like, oh yeah, they probably killed Martin Luther King too. And it's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, probably Malcolm X and, Sinatra, like the RFK thing. Yeah, probably, they probably cooed 70 plus countries. And this guy thinks, and I think maybe I've met a guy in jiu-jitsu or kickboxing who isn't a neo-Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, hey dude, Jews, and I go, fuck, like, shit, like I thought we had something, because I'm like right there with them on all of this, the conspiracy stuff for the most part, and they're like, dude, there's this group of people, they got it, and I'm like, careful.
Do you know what is hilarious though? The idea of you having some guy in a triangle choke going, I think they killed JFK.
Yeah, well, yeah. Those guys, like, I think, to your point, I think they like they like how they end up going from like having that idea to being like, you know how we should fix things? Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, we need to bring back Ronald.
We already have a fucking senile old man in the White House.
Yeah.
The videos of RFK I get right now are like on my TikTok, and they're RFK run ads, and every single one starts with him either giving himself doing pull-ups or push-ups or something. Yeah. That is hilarious, because in his camp's mind, they go, show that you're not a decrepit old man.
Show that you can use an escalator.
Yeah. If you're not a decrepit old man, that puts you leaps and bounds against those guys that are popular right now.
He's crazy popular in America because he's an old man that bench presses in jeans. That is like everybody that I know that like from back home like sees RFK like squatting 350 for reps in tight blue jeans, and they're like, yeah, he's my guy.
I mean, it's the same as Putin riding that damn horse.
Yes.
You want a nationalist guy.
Yeah.
Populism. Let's fucking go.
Putin's good at judo.
Yeah,
That's tight.
Master of sport.
You could be you could be
Is
anyone
he
in the world.
actually good at judo?
Black belt in judo.
No,
You can watch him. He's so good at it.
But like he loses. I'm wondering, do you want to be the guy that beats Putin
No,
in
you
judo?
do not. You do not want to be the
That's
guy
what
that
I'm
beats
saying.
him.
So it's like obviously he's gonna win every fucking match.
No, but he's
gonna beat
trained
him.
for like 40 years.
Yeah.
And judo's like the most difficult
I
martial
see what you're
art to get
saying. The
good
guy
at.
that runs Chechnya, that Radzan Kadyrov guy, it's so funny when UFC guys that he's fans of go to Chechnya. They'll do like jiu-jitsu rounds and sparring rounds, and you can see guys that are like, dude, like 19-0, right? Like the just destroyers of men in the UFC. They're like sparring with him, with Kadyrov, and they're like throwing the laziest jabs of all time, and then like Kadyrov's like clocking them, and like afterwards they're like, he's good, and then there's just two guys behind Kadyrov like fucking AK-47s, and it's like, God, I would never agree to that.
Man, do you remember?
This guy's sponsored by cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Bryce Mitchell got knocked out?
Of course.
So I've thought about this so much. Bryce Mitchell, super Christian Southern boy. He gets on Tucker Carlson. Do you remember what he said before the fight?
No.
God told him that it is his duty to go and win UFC.
You called me and told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. He gets, and then I was so excited to see this because I was like, I was praying to God that his whole identity gets shook, because he says, I'm the Lord Almighty, the Lord who I found in Christ, talked to me. The creator of the universe told me I'm gonna, and he gets fucking hammered, made his ass retarded, like just completely wrecked his shit.
The Josh Emmett one, where he just like one punch put him out.
Incredible. My dream world right now, and I pray for this every single day, is that he goes to Dagestan and trains with the boys out there, finds Islam, and come back and destroys. Moves back to Arkansas, starts a mosque, becomes an imam. That's like my dream.
You don't understand. Allah told me to kill these guys.
Allah, he told me I was gonna get in there and I was gonna whoop his ass.
Dude, he was in his truck, like in a field on FaceTime with Michael Bisping, the UFC former. Michael Bisping is like a known atheist and like whatever. And he was like, mate, you believe? How old do you think the world is? And Bryce Mitchell goes, it's very clear in Genesis. It's 6,000 years old, Mike. And then he goes, Mike, do you believe we came from monkeys? And Bisping's like, do I think we evolved? 100% yes. And he was like, he just pulls a Bible like from under the seat of like the old Chevy C10, and he goes, it's here. You're lying to me. And I was like, I love that these guys can like, because I know so many people like that, and they just die of meth overdoses. And he is like one of the greatest athletes.
One of the greatest fighters alive.
Yeah, he's not a champion, but he's very close, you know?
Here's what's exciting about that story, that type of guy, is that they are not well fed. He comes from stock that's literally eating copper wiring, and then he still becomes an athlete. That's the actual miracle.
Well, it's like all of his workout videos are him like lifting like paint buckets filled with concrete.
Yes.
And he's like, there ain't a gym out here, so this is what I do. And I was
So
like,
good.
dude, you're getting paid $500,000 to show up. Just build a gym out there in the sticks.
Yeah, that's
Did you
like
see
some
what he did
Larry
with his
Bird shit
octagon?
right there.
Yeah, huh?
Did you see what he did with his octagon?
Yes, yeah.
He made a pigsty out of it and a chicken coop. He goes, pigs live underneath it, chickens just in the ring there.
Also, the Chevy S10, what a good pull.
Yeah.
I've only seen those outside of abortion clinics screaming at young women. I've never seen them anywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love the Planned Parenthood.
I used to do that.
Used to protest. Used to
Oh yeah, I was a fundamentalist when I was in a junior
Oh
high.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember
We had
that,
to go and hold up signs of aborted fetuses outside of high schools,
Yeah.
outside of Planned Parenthoods. We would really pride ourselves when they would attack us too. That was like the greatest. If you were a Christian teenager protesting a woman's right to an abortion, and one of them would attack you, you were the martyr for Christ, dude.
In high school, I like going to Raising Cane's. That was kind of like a different speed.
I think we talked about this, but we when you were on my show, but they used to make us act out this play where it was like a short story where there was a mass shooter, and he would line everybody up. And he would ask if you were a Christian, and if you said no, he would shoot you in the head. And then if you said yes, he would just like shoot you in the leg or whatever. Wow. And so like, and it's
So you still get shot.
yeah.
That's
And the whole moral of the story was like you even in the face of death, like you would never renounce your faith because Christians are the most persecuted group of people like in the world. And dude, at like 10, every place I went, I was like, it's gonna happen at any moment. I'm gonna get to die for God.
My entire life,
What
I
an
believed-
American upbringing.
Dude,
sorry.
at like 3 or 4 years old, when I was a child, like a baby, my mom would read from Fox's Book of Martyrs. My mom would also get stories of martyrdom from missionaries overseas.
Yeah.
Martyrdom is your entire identity in evangelical Christianity.
Yeah.
I was so ready to die for Christ that when I realized, like, deconstructed my faith, the Jesus I learned about wasn't really the Jesus in history, I was like, who will I fight and die for now?
Yeah.
You were a fundamentalist. What were you?
Southern Baptist.
See, and that's the different branches of Protestantism. I was Lutheran. So we weren't raised to like, even though he is like, we're heretics, not martyrs. The difference being, and so like, you guys are like ready to die for Christ. We were trained to find a vocation and work ourselves to death for Christ in the capital. That's what we were trained to do.
Yeah, it's like all of like the really deep like Protestant the Catholic guilt. It's like Protestants are just like, I would be in church, right, and my pastor was a cousin of mine. Older, like by marriage, and he would preach like he was a Calvinist, and so dude, every Sunday it was so funny. Every Sunday he would get into it, and he'd really get into and he would be like, some people in this room, you think you're going to heaven. That's not what the good book says. Some of you in here are damned, and you don't even know it. And everybody would be like, woo! Like, so excited because in their minds, they were like, nah, it's the guy next to me. It's the guy next to me for sure. Like, he's an alcoholic and beats his wife. I only beat her a little, so we're all good.
I don't drink when I hit her. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm not a
I don't like to mix pleasures.
Yeah.
I go in steady.
Yeah.
That shows love.
Yeah. And I had this like realization around like junior high. You're like, not only is everybody involved in this just insane, like just not insane, but like greedy, because also like the prosperity gospel was big, like in our church. But also like, yeah, like you read like Matthew, Mark, you read any of the gospels, it's like, yeah, none of this shit makes any sense, guys. Like, you guys want to make a bunch of money? It says right there. It says right there to stop.
That's the favorite joke I used to make growing up when I like had that like connection to how fucked everything was. I'm like, oh, I think I would spend my money designing a camel that could fit through the eye of a needle. That was me in high school talking to my parents about how fucking bullshit their faith was. I was so smart. Oh, really? I think I spent my money fitting a very tiny camel.
I'm just imagining you're drinking, you're swishing around your Faygo on ice in a sherry glass, going, actually, Mom and Dad, I would get a camel fit through a needle. And they're like, we have to get diabetes medication. We're wondering where that money's coming from.
JT, your mom works at Starbucks. Shut the fuck up.
I remember like, yeah, I had a moment in high school where I got really into like the Christopher Hitchens, like Richard Dawkins stuff.
Yeah,
and in my
too,
town, in my little community, like especially in my family, like thinking that I was like, it's like Confederacy of dunces. Like I'm the smartest man that ever lived because
Right.
everybody else in my family didn't finish high school.
Right.
And they like talk to God on a daily basis and they're bad people and I'm good because I think they're stupid. And then like taking that to every Thanksgiving and being like the annoying like liberal cousin that like all fight, that was me, where I'd be like, you're gonna say grace before you do this, where pilgrims died. And like I remember my family being like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, wow, you guys are racist. And then I got older, and when anybody does that now, I'm like, dude, shut up. We're going to drink beer and eat meat. Stop. Like, maybe I've softened. I don't know. It's like you get conservative as you get older. Not a conservative, but I am like, can we just eat some turkey, dude? Shut up. We lost.
You've become a realist. I think you're just like, okay, can I just have the goddamn Modelo?
Yeah.
A piece of propaganda the Maoist movement put out when I was a part of it
Yeah.
was everywhere a battlefield,
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was like the trenches of ideology exist in every conversation.
Yes, yeah.
You can't enter a conversation without upholding the ideology of Maoism. You either abandon Maoism and enter liberalism, or you defend Maoism as a science in every single trench you enter. Let me tell you, I did not keep a lot of friends. My family doesn't like me anymore.
I mean, that's the same energy as like, I'm going to put a gun to your head. Are you a Maoist? And if you say no, I kill you. And if you say yes, then I shoot you in the leg.
I grew up fundamentalist and pretty quickly replaced that with something else. And so now my whole thing is like, I don't do.
JT's told you about this whole thing, right? I was this close.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to join.
I was this close. I was hanging out on the periphery, right?
Yeah.
And they got mad at me because I was, at the time, was like really into like black flag anarchism. Just like, I just wasn't down with like the fucking struggle session. Like, come on, comrade. I was like, guys, we're in Texas. This is not 1917. Then, like the LARPy aspect of it, I was like, dude, this is gay. Like,
especially when the tracksuits became popular.
Yes,
when they all started wearing tracksuits was about the time I started distancing myself. But was still involved in the movement.
Yeah.
But watching them dress up in the costumes was so like, ooh, don't send a video to Turkey. Don't make a video to send to Turkey in tracksuits. And then like the YPJ would publish in their newspaper, supporters from Texas. And then the Maoist movement in Texas got to be like, we have supporters in the YPJ.
Dude.
And we are connected to them ideologically. And it's like, you guys are fucking nuts.
I'm just imagining some person in like Eurasia who wears a tracksuit and sees y'all and being like, the fuck is this shit?
Dude, we put out a polemic. I say we, I wasn't really involved at this point. They put out a polemic specifically about the defense of tracksuits and why people should wear a track. It was so cringe. It was so uncomfortable because it 100% became like, okay, so we dress like this, we talk like this. These are the weird autistic college kids that we organize with. This is the cult. You were smart as hell being an anarchist. Those guys are cool. Anarchists were cool. I helped cause a division between the communists and anarchists because we were going to have a soccer game together in like 2015. And I put in the group chat, when we win, we're going to treat you like you're robbing Stalin's trains. Fantastic history joke if you know about the anarchist in Ukraine that got killed by Stalin for robbing food trains.
Rebellion, baby.
Fantastic joke. They blocked me, canceled the soccer match, blocked me.
I remember I was at like one of those reading groups or whatever, and I was like, I was like, guys, like, because this is the thing I've always hated and I still hate. I'm like, guys, this is not like post like Chinese Civil War, like Japanese occupation. This is not the 40s, 50s in China. This is not like Bolshevik. This is not the Duma.
Yeah.
In 1915, like this is not the Russian Civil War. Like, you are in Texas. Right? Like, I don't need to call you comrade. We don't need to call people we don't like Trotskyists.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? And they were like, well, this is how it is. And I was like, all of you are gay. Like, they also didn't like that I could never stop talking like how I talk normally.
Did I tell you about the first struggle session? Criticism session I did was because there was 3 women involved in the movement, and they said, we need to organize with more women. And I said, we're trying to get more women in here? And they were like, what was that? That's Mactivism, criticize. I had to like ride out and they were sitting around me and they're all, and I was like, it's a joke. I said, like, as if I want to meet more women. They're like, that's not funny.
And we get shotties up in this bitch.
I remember I was talking to a buddy of mine about this. It wasn't one of those like meeting things, but definitely around people who are sympathetic to like that line of line of thinking. And I was talking about where I grew up and how like, if you want working rural people to get down with this movement, they're not going to listen to somebody that looks like Lizzo.
Yeah.
They need somebody that looks like Jack Reacher.
Great.
They need a big, jacked, corn-fed boy to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like,
you don't understand? He reads Jack Reacher.
Yes.
I love it.
Me too. I like Jack Reacher. I was bullshitting in this, and then we were talking about this, and I was like, guys, like, then they were like, we need to center more like POC and like all these like white people in this movement and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, guys, I understand what you're saying. And I, to some degree, understand. Here's the problem. Everybody that I know thinks communism and socialism is for homos and Mexicans. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? So if you show them a gay Mexican and they talk about socialism, they're going to be like, get that stinky guy out of here. Mm-hmm. You got to have a white, blue-eyed guy be like, workers of the world unite, and then they'll go, like in Cuba, Fidel, he just was a big motherfucker that killed people, and they're like, we like that guy.
100%.
Yeah.
The support for Fidel in Cuba is hilarious because it's like the Freemasons in the hills that were like, this guy's gonna kill our president. We love him. We have no idea what this guy's about. We're gonna hide him in our lodges. This guy's awesome.
He's 6'4" and he just cuts guys' heads off. Because,
Like, this guy's the coolest guy in the hills.
That sounds like a Spanish Jack Reacher.
that's exactly why I brought up Fidel, because people were always like, the criticism of it is like, well, how did he win over the rural people? It's like, well, Batista's guys would go in there and take all their food or whatever, and he would, like, when they were moving there through the countryside, when they were trying to like start the July whatever movement, he was like, hey, what are those guys doing over there? And the farmers would be like, oh, they take all of our food and they basically make us work for free. And it's like, if I shoot them in the head and like cut their heads off and bring them to you, can I stay in your barn for like 2 weeks and regroup? And they're like, sounds like a good deal to me. So go over there. and Fidel was like tall. He was a big guy. And so him and Che would just go over there with the guys and they would just lop them, shoot them in the head. And they'd be like, here's these guys that treated your family like shit for 50 years. And he's like, you guys can have all the pigs in there. We don't care. And again, that's how you get Texas communism.
We need to get a guy in Mississippi that just like hunts game wardens.
Yeah.
And he shows up and he's like, hey, y'all sick of the ATF and game wardens?
Yeah,
Personally,
yeah.
I think that's capitalist faggotry. And everyone in Mississippi's like, capitalist yeah! He's like, we're going to take them pigs down a notch.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
lose my hand at fireworks.
I'm going to lose my hand holding it tight.
Yeah, like if Bud Light, instead of doing the Dylan Mulvaney thing, would have just made it like kind of a swole fat, like just dude in a Carhartt jacket with like a fucking Union hat on being like, yeah, healthcare's good. We would have had it by now.
Yeah.
We would
Jelly
have
Roll. If Jelly Roll pitched healthcare.
Yeah. Just have a translator for like the socialist movement that goes into like rural white parts of the country, and that just some like guy in a suit from DC is like, we want to raise taxes a little bit on wheat yield, so other people in rural areas and city areas can have healthcare. And Jelly Roll's like, all right, so we're just going to take a little bit more milk, and then y'all be able to go to the doctor. All right, that sounds good. Here. Because it's like, yeah, you can't, like, I never understood why it's like, again, like, no, this is who we're going to have run it. And you're like, dude, no one's going to listen to you.
Yeah, you suck. Oh, dude, you suck. You just happen to be the best at talking about Marxism. You suck, dude.
We got like a few more minutes. So the big rumor is that Joe Biden was at Camp David this morning, considering talking with the party about stepping down. What do you think of the rumors? Of
We're
that?
calling shots.
Dude, I straight up think that they like, I don't know, I get tinfoil brain.
They're gonna run him all the way.
No, I think that they put him up there on purpose to maybe try to push Kamala because she's the person with the most name recognition.
Jake, same brain. CIA did this on purpose, or some clique within the
Democratic
intelligence.
machine. Yeah.
Whatever clique you agree is running things for Biden did this on purpose. I personally believe it's a gruesome Newsom push.
That's what I think. I
You
think
think
it's
so?
definitely-
I think, and also Sam's idea, I'm pretty on board with too.
What's that?
Which one? I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were pretty hard found on this, that they're going to push Michelle Obama.
Oh no, I said
They
that would
should.
be. I said that's what the smartest move
They would,
be.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I just don't think that I just don't think like America would do that.
No.
I don't think they wouldn't allow. They've already allowed for multiple. They wouldn't allow another Clinton. They're not going to allow any more Bushes. Jeb Bush got destroyed.
The
in
American
2016.
Criminal Party
They wouldn't
families.
allow another name because she has the same name as a guy who was a 2-term president. They wouldn't allow.
Also, half the country thinks she's a dude.
Yeah.
Also, half the country thinks she's a dude.
Yeah.
Which would help with black conservative male voters.
Yeah.
If they-
But I think it would be a lot easier to get Michelle in than it would to get Kamala in.
No one's going to vote for Kamala.
No one's voting for Kamala. No one likes her. Even
I
Democrats
love the
don't
bot
like her.
farms that work for her, or whatever. Again, whatever.
K-Hive,
The
yeah.
K-Hive bot farms are some of the most aggressive. Like, you filthy Chinese-minded immigrant.
Did you
Kamala's gonna destroy you. It's
Did you
crazy.
see what happened when she went on Drew Barrymore's TV show?
No, what?
Oh my god, it
So
was
good.
the most like cringy shit of all time. The meme that was going around was that Drew Barrymore treated Kamala like the girl at a party that's looking for coke, right? Like she's just like, "Oh my god, I think you know what? I know your name is Kamala, but right now I think the country needs a mamala."
Yeah.
Kill me.
I don't- like-
kill me.
A part of me wonders if like I'm just being like too paranoid, and I'm like, it also is very, very possible. Considered this, that the hubris of the machine that is the Democratic Party was like, nah, he's straight, he's good. Because you see some of the articles coming out like, no, he did a good job. These are just social media clips. Like, he's fine.
I've seen those articles
Yeah.
too. That's insane.
You're smoking dick, dude.
No.
Like, the guy's clearly not doing good. But I could understand, like, if the machine believes it, then whatever.
I hate the
there's-
establishment, right? I think he was a segregationist. I'd love to see him get beat to death in public. I feel that
Right.
way about Trump, Biden, Kamala, all of them.
Right.
I hate them all.
Yeah.
I want to be really clear about this, though. I have started to feel so bad for Biden.
Yes.
I feel bad for him too.
He has become so human to me in his decrepit old age that when he gets on TV, the same brain that says I would love to see that man up against the wall, paying for the crimes, paying for way to the U.S. I go, let him sleep, man.
I mean, here's the thing. He did get what he wanted. It's like one of those Satanist or like Twilight Zone things where you're like, I want to be president. It's like, great, but you won't remember it.
Yeah, a monkey paw. He got a monkey paw.
Dude, like literally, like remember the guy like the Twilight Zone where the guy's like, I just want all the time in the world to read my books, and time pauses and his glasses break, and he's like, fuck, I can't read them now.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I feel like I was just starting the conversation like just before I got here. Like when both my grandparents, my grandmas got dementia towards the end of their life. They were on the same age as Biden, right? They got to do the thing that old people with dementia should get to do until they pass, which is
Scream at a Filipino.
Yes, that too. No. Both my grandmas were very racist. I want to make that clear. No, they sat on their couches, they watched Golden Girl and Matlock and got high on Oxy and then just waited until something critical in their body fails. That's what you should do.
That is dementia. Yeah.
That is what you should do. 80 after, your brain's going, just sit high on opiates and watch fucking Blanche talk about fucking dudes from Italy. That's all you got. That's all you need to do.
My dad has watched Band of Brothers on repeat since his diagnosis.
Right, and so I'm like,
that's what it should
imagine putting your dad or my grandma on an airplane 7 days a week and fly. That's torture.
It's torture. Yeah,
It's torture.
It has made me feel so bad for him, and I dislike this guy.
Yeah.
I'm watching him on TV going, just let him go to sleep.
Also,
dude.
have you seen clips of him back in the day?
When he's
Yeah.
like hot
When
and
you
fiery.
watch a clip, like even when he was running with Obama in 2008, it's a different guy.
Different guy.
What's crazy now is like, okay, so people will like argue that like, what's the reason? What's the reason why they keep running him? It's like, well, there's so much money to be made, right? Like, it's like, no, really what it is now is like, he's got to keep his son out of prison. That's why he's part of it. I think that is the only reason why.
Hunter Biden is cool, dude. He's so cool.
He's my dream life,
People
to be honest.
show pictures of him with a jock strap on and a crack pipe hanging out of his mouth, and he's just got some like, I don't know, Filipino like lady boy on the bed with him.
that are a lot happier than the girls at Sidebar.
Yes. And people are like, look at this monster, and I'm like, dude, I got something to tell you. There was a time in my life not too long ago where that's what I wanted to be.
He's living, dude. In the time that I met you, if we would have met Hunter Biden, he would have made our lives fantastic. He would have been like, "Hey, all the things that you guys are doing, like poor people are doing, come and let me show you what life is like."
You don't understand.
Oh my god.
They asked Hunter Biden for several years what was the best bathroom in Austin, and he said Sidebar.
Yeah. God damn it. Yeah, dude. He's so fucking cool.
I mean, Trump's gonna run for sure. His mental faculties are low, but his physical faculties are high, so he's gonna figure it out.
Here's a question: who do you think wins in a fight? Both Trump sons versus Hunter Biden, or Hunter Biden?
Dude.
Cracked up.
Barron, his like 18, 19-year-old.
He's like 6'9", dude.
The
Yeah.
reach on him alone, you know there's a rule in kickboxing about reach. Like there's a level of skill you have to have. But if you can hit me from that
Baron
far away,
smash.
that's it. Yeah, Baron smash.
But there's also a rule: you never fight a crackhead.
Yeah, that's that.
He has crackhead powers.
He's on dust. He's ready to go. He's like, I just got done fucking my brother's wife. Let's go.
Dude, that story was so crazy. At the funeral, hitting crack in the crowd, in the hearse, just like, all right, I'm gonna go fuck my brother's wife. He's in the dirt. God damn it. Like,
Dude,
when they tried to get Joe Biden, like when the concern, like another thing that humanized me for him, they released the text between him and Hunter when he was like trying to go into rehab, and he was like, I just love my son.
I just love you, dude. Do
And
your
I
thing,
was
man.
like, God damn it. It just brings a tear to your eye, a little one.
man, I don't think Joe's gonna make it to November.
You think
I
he's
don't
gonna die?
Genuinely don't.
I don't know if he'll
kill him
die.
or he'll die.
It's the same thing.
You don't think? Okay.
I don't think he dies. I do think maybe he becomes like not like not a vegetable, but like he can't walk around.
It's going to be similar to like what Saban did at Alabama. I'm college football obsessed, but like he was the greatest coach probably of modern football ever, and then just one day realized, because he's on jets multiple times a week on the offseason recruiting, and then he's on a jet every week for a game. I think it did catch up with his physical body, and then practicing the heat of Alabama every year. He's like, I'm 72. I cannot physically coach college football anymore. So they went and took the guy who took Washington to the championship. And then now Saban he's not the athletic director. Instead, they call him a consultant who just helps this guy coach. In addition, that's how they're going to pitch it to us, where it's like, well, Biden has been in the Senate for 75 years. He was the vice president for 80 years. He's like this, he's that. He is now a political, like, granddad, consultant, chancellor.
Roger Stone type.
He just becomes Dumbledore.
That's what they're going to make him. They're going to make him a beloved figure where he's like, oh, it's Grandpa Joe. Don't we love Grandpa? Like,
Well, I
that's
guess,
what it is going to be. And then they'll just bring in the Newsom, who's the hated guy, and they'll be like, no, Biden's going to make him soft. He's going to make him likable. Don't you guys want to see this character growth of...
Yeah.
I love that people think Gavin Newsom's like a Maoist.
Yeah.
Like Tucker Carlson, like
Yeah,
says
right?
they talk on the phone and he's like, "I'm a communist," and I'm like, Tucker, you CIA bastard.
Yeah,
like,
for
I
real.
want you dead, but like, are you stupid or are you playing a game here?
That's another thing is Tucker's become more likable, which sucks because he's being more like, I don't know.
He goes on Theo Von's podcast and he's like 8 balls, right? And I'm like, I get this guy.
Yeah, it sucks because now he's pretending like he hates the CIA. He's called the CIA a sworn enemy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, dude, you're going to kill me. You're going to make my brain explode with how many times I scream you're a CIA asset.
God, he's the best, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like
Good at
him,
what he does.
him and
He's
Matt
very
Al,
good.
They're
He's
the
very
fucking best, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, do you remember when he told everyone that he really loves Zins and like that was just news?
Yeah, the Nelk boys brought him like a 70-foot long Zin jar.
The Nelk boys, I wonder if they know because some of them are for like Canada.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they know, like, when they got that guy sitting there that, like, what his family, like, Tucker Carlson's dad worked for Voices of America. Like, you're sitting next to quite possibly one of the most, like, psychotically dangerous, like, this guy makes people want to do mass shootings. Like,
That's,
Yeah, 100%.
and he just walks
100%.
around in like his sweater vest in boat shoes, and it's like,
dude, he tried to be in the CIA. Like, they wouldn't, like, he wanted to be like a clandestine officer.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take him.
What was he doing in Nicaragua right after that then?
Yeah, well, a consultant.
Yeah.
You
For
know what I
who?
mean?
Who are you consulting?
Alabama football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alabama football, baby. Yeah, when he had that interview with Putin, and Putin was like, "You tried to be CIA."
You'd be dead right now if you made it.
Yeah.
That was such a good response where Carlson was like, oh, fuck, oh, shit. Does he
Dude,
know?
like, if a guy who like was the KGB's boogeyman in the days of the USSR is like, "Yeah, you tried. I know," I would be like, your dick just shrivels up in your fucking Dockers. You're like, okay, sorry.
Because you know what he says right after that, right?
Yeah.
He says if you would have made it, you'd probably be dead right now.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have made it. You would have been killed. And it's like, I personally think that he is a CIA asset.
Yeah.
Or at least
Whether he
he's
knows it or
something.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether he knows it or not. And so, like,
Yes,
there's probably
yes,
that moment
yeah.
in his head where he's like, oh, shit, are you going to kill me?
Yeah.
Are you about to fucking kill me for this shit right now?
Yeah.
I do believe he is. He didn't write any of the books he wrote. You know, just like how Matt, there's a media organization, there's a media chapter of all the CIA.
Mockingbird. Yeah. Project. Yeah. Well, I get mad when right wing. This happens all the time. Where like these guys will take talking points that's typically associated with left wing populism, right? I see all of the right wing Christian guys be like, "Oh, the CIA," and I'm like, dude, if I'm right wing Christian guy, I'm standing outside Langley with a boombox like John Cusack, and I'm like, baby, I love you, because their mission for the last 70 years has been the death of gay, communist, fucking godless losers, and all the guys that started it were like Christian zealot alcoholics.
Do you know what I hate? I hate that Christians are down with this. If you're a right winger, you need to be Mormon. This is your holy land.
Yes.
Like, I get so worked up talking to people who are Christian. I'm like, no, you're not a Christian. Convert to LDS
Yes.
and fight for your holy land.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're full of shit.
Yes.
You're full of shit. You should go fight with Palestine right now against Israel.
Yes.
If you're a Christian who's like, I'm a warrior for God,
Yeah.
go defend our holy
Go
land.
jihad.
Go jihad.
Dude, incel right wing guys, I'm like, dude, there's a whole world out there for you, baby. It's called Provo. You're not getting no pussy in Texas. You're not getting no pussy in California. You want to knock up some lady with a wide set of hips and a fucking big blue eyeballs and a big ass head. There's a bunch of Polish immigrants in Utah. They converted to Mormonism, and there are ladies out there who just want to get knocked up by the ugliest, palest fucking accountants in the world. And they love you.
A
They
sea
will-
of kind, obedient women.
They will make you pancakes forever. You don't have to, but you don't want them. You want to fuck Instagram thoughts.
Renounce God, join LDS. This is your life.
And just raise your anemic family in a Salt Lake.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah. Like online, like all the complaints are like women are like, you know, American women, Western women are like, they're disobedient, they're sassy, like they've had attitudes. I'm like, dude, just
Jimmy?
go to Brigham Young.
Go to Brigham Young.
Well, here's my
Sorry,
question.
he has a foreign wife, and that's everything that is.
Oh, I'm 100%
Yesterday.
on getting the fucking immigrant wife. Yeah, American
He copped
women.
to foreign. He's different now.
Dude,
He did.
yeah, Jake, if you have a fiance, get yourself an import, dude. I'm telling you.
She's half Mexican. Careful, brother.
Okay. No, I gotta tell you though, the one thing I push against the Mormons, they're attractive, dude. Have you seen Mormons?
Yeah, they're
all
hot. Yeah.
Because they don't drink, they don't smoke, they all work out. Like they're
Yeah.
good-looking people. So
And like again, this is their holy land. Like to have that connection to where you live. This is just a place I live.
Yeah.
This is just a place that I can do comedy and live. That is the holy land that their ancestors died for.
Yeah.
They killed the natives there to claim their holy land. If you want a political interest that represents your spiritual beliefs, buddy, game
Dude,
over.
they tried to go to Oregon, and Oregon was like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Oregon said, "We gay."
And then they tried like 3 different states. It was like a Zionism in America. They were like, "Can we come over here and kill a bunch of people?" And they're like, "Nah, we already did that.
It's
you got to
the
go
reason
somewhere
that
else."
we have cities in Missouri named Zion.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
believe that is their Zion.
Zion National Park.
Yeah.
in Utah.
Oregon's crazy. Do you know that they made slavery illegal because they didn't want black people?
Yeah, the Great White North.
Dude, there used to be like a big like red communist movement up in the Pacific Northwest, and there's this weird part of Oregon. It's one of the weirdest states in America because like every state is urban city with a little bit liberal political bend, and then rural outside. Oregon is like you got the fucking like People's Republic cities, and then out in the country they've got dudes out there who are like helter skelter now.
Yeah.
Like they want to start doing like dirty bomb shit. Like they're done. They don't want to talk no more. They want to start killing people like yesterday.
One of my favorite books is called Silent Brotherhood, and it's just this fantastic history written by these 2 Jewish guys about this right-wing organization that like kind of their most popular moment in American history was they killed a Jewish talk show host in Denver. But they end up having this really big standoff in Washington on Whidbey Island, you know, and it's fractions into like kind of like the modern right-wing movement of like paramilitaries, the boys that you're talking about. All of Idaho is like that.
Yeah.
All of Idaho, there are still camps that were started by these guys and their friends that all of us, well, not Sam, respectfully, all of us, he's a half Mexican, could go and live at right now and be a part of a right-wing paramilitary.
Dude, that Jake Shields, the MMA like white supremacist guy, somebody posted that he's like a 5th Japanese, and he's been getting cooked in his replies because he's like a white power guy, subtly, and he's like in the replies like, "Wow, you guys are pretty racist. Like this is stuff crazy." And like he posts like before this, like 2 weeks ago, he was like, "I'm proud to be white. Like you should be proud to be white, proud of your heritage," and like. Because as we kind of slip further and further into this, whatever this is, like culturally in America, the club gets smaller. The door kind of does this. And so if you were in the club 10 years ago, like Milo Yiannopoulos, Dave Rubin, no, you guys are gay, you're out. And now it's just white guys, whatever. And so he's in the replies like fighting for his fucking life. Like, no, like I'm a white power, like white pride. And they're like, you're a 5th Japanese, you're a 5th Mexican race traitor, idiot. And he's like, guys, come on, please. And I'm like, pathetic loser.
I go by the 1 drop rule as well. That's why I'm not white. I have a grandma named Juanita.
Really?
She was like maybe something. Probably not though.
You know what's sick about my? I did like a family tree thing, dude. We've been here since before the country, both sides of the family.
Nice.
I can like 1600s on both sides.
Like native, you mean?
No, American, like British and German.
Oh,
No, I
okay.
don't mean native. I mean like the people who came over inbred as fuck on the boats dying. That was my people.
His great grandpa was like a buck-toothed dude with lead poisoning, being like, "I'll kill British, I'll kill them all."
Yeah, literally. And I remember like doing like reading all these. I'm reading all of these like public information like notations and tax forms on like what the family was doing in like 1700s on like mom and dad's side. Dude, we had hella money. We weren't poor. You know what made us poor? I'll give you one guess, baby.
When they freed the slaves.
Oh yeah. I saw like 1870 dirt poverty, baby. Dirt. But before that, ooh, yeah. I remember I got to know my great
Your
grand.
last name's Rhodes, too.
Yeah,
like Rhodes scholar.
RHOD. Yeah. My great grandfather would tell me like he was like, yeah, no, my grandfather owned slaves. And he lived to be almost 100, and he would talk to me about like he never experienced it, but his grandfather would tell him about it. And his grandfather would be like, "Yeah, dude, life was pretty fucking sick. Didn't have to do much. He made hella money. He sold cotton to across the world. It was pretty badass." And then that bastard, you know. And I remember thinking like, you have a moment where like, well, I wouldn't want to project on you guys. You might be good people. I was like, I know it was good, but fuck, man, growing up poor sucked. Like, damn, we used to have like 1,000 acres. Shit.
Yeah.
Now
If I could just have a few of those now.
yeah, a donkey.
Wait,
Come
we
on.
gave them to who?
Some gay guy in Maine has them. That fuck. Yeah.
God damn.
Man, that's our time,
Yeah,
right?
dude, I gotta get going. I gotta
Thank
get back
you.
to work.
Thank you so much for
dude.
being here. Do you want to plug anything
Yeah,
before we
please.
leave?
Everybody check out Pandeo Time if you want. That's our show, and I'm doing Brandon and Wardell's show here too. So I guess come see Brandon and Wardell on July 19th and 20th, and I'll be doing stand up.
Hell yeah,
as well.
July 19th and 20th.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, guys. This has been the Bad News Podcast. we'll see you on the internet.
Be on the internet. God bless you.